Capricorn, how are you? Let's do a reading for your current energy, shall we? As always, take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story. So I sure appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe. All that good stuff. It really makes a difference to my channel. And I would love to see my channel continue to grow. All right, let's see what's going on for all of my Capricorns for the next 7 to 10 days. Grateful, thankful. I'm seeing victory. All right, look, victory, happiness. I think, you know, it's your turn, right? So it could be a really good week for you, Capricorn. Let's see what's coming up. We do have, you know, you doing a lot of dreaming. There's something that I feel is concerning when it comes to the family. You know, and maybe you're hoping to get some answers through the dream time, through some kind of download. You know, I just feel as if some Capricorns out there really need, you know, to kind of find an answer to a problem that might be going on in the home. Let's see what else we got going on. And maybe we get a little bit of clarity. All right, so in the recent past, we do have the Star card coming in reverse. So when the Star card shows up, you know, this is an energy of like, you know, we want to have a lot of hope in what's going on. But I feel as if, you know, you need help. You need support. You need to know that, you know, the divine is looking down upon you and saying, hey, I haven't forgotten you. You know, so I do feel as if, you know, this could like muddle into like anxiety and stress of, you know, just not knowing how to handle a situation that might be pending that needs to be addressed. It could be around finances. We do have the Ace of Pentacles coming in here reversed. We do have the Five of Wands above you, you know. So, you know, finances might be, you know, a big issue. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to make all the bills. There's so much happening right now that I'm really stressing. And, you know, this hasn't started yet. Maybe there's the potential for a new job, or, you know, you're working on something, but it hasn't taken off yet. Especially with the Five of Wands, you know, because this shows, you know, that there's a lot of things that, you know, are coming into play, as well as competition. It's just like, you know, maybe there's a position you are really after, and, you know, you question whether or not you're going to get it. And if you get it, it's going to be terrific. But if you don't, you know, that could, you know, be a problem. So I think there's just a lot of worry of like, am I going to beat out these other people? Am I going to be able, you know, to like, you know, shine brighter than the rest? Because a lot of times when we have the Five of Wands, you know, this is an energy that says, you know, you've got to make some shifts and some changes, and you've got to put yourself out there, especially if there is problems and your worries around, you know, I don't know how I'm going to take care of my house. I don't know how I'm going to take care of my family. So you're going to have to put yourself out there in a way that might be a little uncomfortable. You know, listen, I always believe that, you know, when we step into this space of, you know, the unknown, you know, putting ourselves out of the comfort zone that we're in and, you know, testing the waters in another direction, it's scary. I mean, and Capricorn's like that sure-footed energy. And I feel like right now, you know, you need to take a chance. You need to, you know, believe in yourself that, you know, you are as good as, if not better than those people that you will be up against if you are wanting to improve your financial situation by getting another job or applying for another job. You cannot stay in this state of worry and anxiety, you know, so you have to make a move. And I just feel as if, you know, you've got to turn this around and be a little bit hopeful. A lot of times with the Star card, and I don't feel that it's talked about enough, is that there's this need for you to be vulnerable. All right. Now, YouTube makes us, you know, cover up the nakedness, you know, but that is, you know, what the Star card is about. It's just like sometimes we have to open up and, you know, do things that we don't normally do, or that, you know, really make us feel uncomfortable, you know, and in so doing, you know, the doors start to open up, because honestly, people really respond to that kind of vulnerability. So don't be afraid, Capricorn, to put yourself out there and get in front, you know, because like I said, I feel you are as good as, if not better than the competition, because you're a workhorse. You know, you don't just sit back and do nothing. I mean, you really apply yourself. So I want you to really find that strength, the way you apply it to yourself and the work that you do. Put it out there, and put yourself in a position where, you have the opportunities just as much as anybody else to get down this road, the road that you really want to get on, and make it happen. All right, we do have the Five of Swords also coming in here. And the Five of Swords is a funny energy because sometimes it could lead to arguing and, fighting. But in this reading, I'm sensing that this, anything you do right now to stand up and, fight for yourself, it's worth it. All right. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. All right. That keeps coming through for you, Capricorns. All right. It is time for you to turn these cards around. All right. The Strength card says tap into those primal instincts. Tap into those parts of yourself that you might keep a little hidden because those are your strengths. So don't be afraid to open up and get out of that comfort zone. I just feel like it will benefit you in so many ways. And some people need to hear what you need to say, even if they don't like it. But the situations in your life right now, I feel need to change. We have 2 5s on the table. 5, 5, 5. These are the numbers of change. And I think that if you need to change things up for your family, for your home life, for just your quality of life in general, you're going to have to make some decisions because you cannot remain where you are. Something has to give. When the Two of Pentacles shows up reversed like it is here, this is you saying, I can't keep this up, so I'm going to have to take a chance. I cannot pretend anymore that this is working, so don't be afraid. Again, I'm going to say it, to be vulnerable and get yourself out there and do something that is out of your comfort zone. All right, that keeps coming up. And here's the Empress coming in reversed. And then we have the Six of Swords. All right, so this need for you to honor yourself, to believe that you are worthy of whatever it is that you are after, you no longer need to be, in a position where, you're struggling. If you open up and take that chance. A lot of times with the Empress coming in reversed, there's insecurities about well, I don't know, maybe, I'm too old, or maybe, they're going to think that, I don't have enough experience. Listen, experience, listen, it doesn't matter. If you are good at what you do, that is what's going to shine through. And that's what you have to believe with the Strength card, that you have what it takes. You have the ability to create the kind of life that you are really wanting and you are after. And, you've been in such a troubled state, and I think for too long, because here we have this Six of Swords coming in as your final outcome, which I love because it says the worst is over. It's time for us to make the shifts and the changes that are going to bring the sense of peace that we need. We want to know that we are secure. We want to know we can pay our rent. We want to know that we can pay the bills. We want to know that we can take care of our children. And here it's just I feel as if, you have been really struggling to make all of this happen. And now you are in a place where you have no choice but to put yourself out there in a way that you haven't before and open yourself up, because it is what's going to bring all of this peace that you are really needing. Because, that's a lot of mental energy, these Six of Swords. That's you really struggling with trying to figure out what to do. And we have, this card here of, you needing to get a good night's sleep, and wanting to find the answers, but you already have the answers. You already know what you need to do. You just need to open up and take that chance and do it. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Wands coming in reversed. Do not be afraid to set this in motion. All right. The energies here are saying You can do this. You can do this. Even though it's not in your comfort zone, stepping out of that comfort zone is where the magic lies. All right, Capricorn, so do not be afraid to make this next step, because I feel as if you put yourself out there and you really, push through this change that needs to happen, you are only going to find something good at the other end. All right, so take what works, leave what doesn't, Capricorn. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you at another reading. Until then, be happy, be healthy, be kind. Hit that like button, and I'll see you later. Bye now.